Hello there. Now I want to talk about a quick deck tag for Monored stake. It's a modern deck, very budget oriented. Um, a similar version or a similar idea for a deck has been introduced by Travis Wu and Channel Fireball. I didn't see his lists before I came up with this particular build, and this was largely my conclusion on my experiments before I came up with this list. It was a compilation of different combo elements and different combo cards, and here I'm trying to go all in and having the most accessible and the most straightforward builds money-wise and strategy-wise. The mana base is super simple. We just have 4 contested war zones and a bunch of mountains. We're playing 17 lands, and this is complemented by 3 Simeon Spirit Guides for mana ramp, as well as for each ritual still available in this modern format. Your first drops includes kind of obvious ones, as faces looting, and oftentimes you play on turn 1 such a spicy weird card as Foundry Stick Denizen, somewhat multi-format all-star of some sorts. Well, you never play on turn 1 devastating summons. It's more like a turn 3 or 4 cards, complemented by Goblin Bushwhacker, of course. You play 3 summons and the full set of Bushwhackers. Well, Probe is basically turn 0/turn 1 card, but, well, it all depends. So you don't have much to play on turn 1, but thanks to Spirit Guides, we can sometimes go into turn 1 8 Goblins, thanks to Empty the Warrens, and turn 2 Bushwhacker and attack for almost lethals, like basically netting a turn 2 kill. I had in testing so many turn 3 kills with this deck, and sometimes you can just attack for 51 damage on turn 4 if you have not such an interactive opponent. And then also for turn 2 plays you have full set of Metamorphose. This is pretty straightforward card in this deck. And then your second engine, in addition to Empty the Warrens and Devastating Summons, is a full set of Young Pyromancer. So these 3 are your main engines for the deck to actually go off and do a bunch of funny stuff, pumped by Bushwhacker Warzone. I do think playing a bunch of Rebel Masters and Goblin Instigators and the full set of Goblin Zinchkans is way more efficient and way more reliable strategy. This is also a way to go, and if you want to have a very easy to build deck for an FNM, like, this version is even more accessible than All-in Goblins, like playing all efficient goblins of the modern format. Street Denizen is actually such a funny card in this deck, because sometimes you can play him turn 1 and turn 2 make 8 goblins, and all of a sudden you're attacking for 9 with your Street Denizen if your opponent just starts with a tapped colonnade. And then to sort of like having some late game, like I'm playing just 1 Zishgan and 1 Burn at the stake. Well, not only because it's so fun to say that the deck name is Monored Stake, but also because if you can have an uncontested turn 2 Pyromancer, and then turn 3 you play a bunch of like cantrips and rituals, which all generate you an elemental token, then if you manage to draw from them, like burn up the stake, all of a sudden you have a turn free kill, like which for which to be solved you don't really have to attack or draw into bushback or empty, like just basically 5th copy of Empty the Warren slash card, which enables you killing your opponent without going to attack if you the road is blocked by a bunch of, like, not just Tarmagos, but like against some Winnie deck or maybe Soul Sisters. Well, although Soul Sisters is a terrible matchup for us. And then as for sideboard, like, which is pretty random, I didn't quite yet figure out what are the weak spots of the deck, but I'm having 3 Shattering Sprees for Affinity matchups, like a couple of Grape Shots for all creature decks, and maybe Green-White Haybears, just one answer to Talia, other answers to Talia or Polymer creature matchups, a couple of Lavamancer's and a couple of Anger of the Gods. One copy of Past in Flames for blue decks when they counter all your stuff, and apart if they don't see Past in Flames game 1, which we just cited in, and they might side in Cage or Relic just if they see looting, but Grave Hate doesn't do all that much against you. And Past in Flames is still awesome if they do more or less understand that you are not really graveyard dependent. Then I have like 2 copies of Ricochet Trap, which is just against blue deck to counter spells. I figured that after playtesting against blue-white red that counters actually are a problem with this deck, because if they manage to counter one of your rituals or I know Jan Permancer, you often see that by just trying to go the turn after or in 2 more turns, trying to cover all the bases, you give them so much time to recoup and draw more counters and more removal, and just have enough of mana in play by turn 3-4 to actually cast more than 1 spell per turn, and like then you just can't do much, because then they start chaining Snapcasters into removal or counter spells, and at that point like 6 or 8 goblins aren't actually gonna accomplish much, and like spicy cards in the boards trying to see whether it's good against control decks or just slower decks is 3 copies of Forza Ruin. It's kind of like a Armageddon in this deck, because if we don't really care how many lands in play we have at that point, and if we resolve any pressure with like Denizen or Parments or early turn 2 like 6-8 goblins, or turn 3 a bunch of goblins, and then turn after we fought the range just for like 2 lands or 3 lands, it's an awesome setback for the opponents. There you go.